I do have skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
G'day everybody. For those poor bastards that have to actually deal with Auckland Transport, it's impossible to try and get details and contact information for these people. So I thought, why not make it easier for the poor average Joe blogs that AT tries to take through the ringer to get their little bit of blood out of them. Here is the following. Now, first of all, head honcho, and that would be John Strawbridge. He's the face for the media. He's the one you see talking bullshit on the Fair Go Paul Martin story, the T3 terror. I'd like to point out too that in the description of this video there is a generic link to a folder I've called Generic Documents to Help Mankind, and in there is generic paperwork that you can call your own, fill in the blanks and send off in regards to a speeding ticket or anything like that. One of my friends, who ironically had his grandson in the baby seat in the back of his car, got stung a T2 ticket. Yet his grandson, just like Paul Martin with his two kids, my mate's grandson was in the back seat in the car thing. What he did is he printed out this generic document, he filled in the blanks to make it his own, sent it off to him. AT voided the ticket and sent their most humblest apologies back to him. So these forms do work, and I highly suggest anyone who gets a parking ticket to at least give it a try. But for starters, John Strawbridge. Now, John Strawbridge, according to, and this is LinkedIn's information, is manager of Auckland Transport Operations Centre at Auckland Transport, Auckland, New Zealand Government Administration. Currently at Auckland Transport, previously at Auckland Transport, and he was also Eden Park Stadium, New Zealand, and Strawberry Holdings. His education was at Massey High School. His experience for the last 9 years and 2 months has been a manager at Auckland Transport's operational centre in central Auckland. Auckland Transport, before then, he was from November 2013, he was present for 5 years and 4 months at Queen's Wharf, Lower Auckland CBD, currently leading the Ops Centre, which has business units from rail, bus, ferry, parking services and special events, and he was the manager of special events. Prior to that, he was also with Auckland Transport from January 2010 through to October 2013 for 3 years and 10 months at Auckland, and he got the role to design and build the new AT Operations Centre in Auckland Central, and that was completed in April 2014. Before then, he was the operations manager at Auckland Park Stadium, New Zealand, February 2006 through to December 2009, 3 years and 11 months, and he was the ops manager at the most iconic stadium in New Zealand. Great years working with Murray Reid and the old team. Way to go, you boys. Before then, he was the managing director of Strawberry Holdings in October 1996 through to December 2005 for 9 years and 3 months, where in Auckland, where he had his my own hospitality company, owner of a number of cafes across Auckland, designer and brand creator of standalone cafes for clients. One of the original Sierra Cafe directors, along with the brand creator Lindsay Smith. Okay, so that pretty much covers the last 25 odd years. Before then, police detective at New Zealand Police from January 1980 to September 1996, so he was in the police force for 16 years and 9 months at Auckland. His education is at Massey High School from 1974 to 78, and he went to Hobsonville Primary at 1966 to 73. So that's him. Next up, we have the prosecutor or parking prosecutor. Her name is Vanessa Oliver. If you'd like to contact John, His email address is john.strawbridge@at.govt.nz if you'd like to directly contact him via email. Now, Vanessa Oliver is vanessa.oliver@at.govt.nz. Her direct dial number is 447-4850, or if you're calling from somewhere other than Auckland, stick an 09 in front of it. She is listed as the prosecutor at Auckland City Council, Auckland, New Zealand Government Administration, and that's all they have about her. The Chief Executive Officer is Shane Ellison. If you want to email him, it's chief.executive@at.gov.nz. Shane Ellison, Chief Executive Officer at Auckland Transport, Auckland, New Zealand Government Administration, currently at Auckland Transport. Previously, he was at Transdev, Australasia, and worked for Viola Transport, South Africa, and Viola Transport. His education was at the University of Melbourne. Got to watch out for those Australian imports, eh? They have a tendency to flip the script and go a little loony with automatic rifles. His experience as Chief Executive Officer at Auckland Transport from December 2017, presently for 1 year and 3 months. Auckland Transport AT is the organisation that keeps Auckland moving, responsible for all of the region's transport services, from road and footpaths to cycling, parking and public transport. AT is committed to facilitating a growing and vibrant Auckland through a wide array of safe, innovative and sustainable transport choices, while ripping you off in the process. Established in 2009, about 10 years ago, AT is a council-controlled organisation, CCO accountable to the Auckland Council. They are also partly funded by the central government through the New Zealand Transport Authority, or NZTA, as an integral cog in developing the nation's economic hub and delivering on economic growth targets. So it's all about the money. AT also plays a key role in facilitating modes and networks that build on a larger integrated system. AT's vision of helping Auckland become one of the world's most livable cities is underpinned by 5 main strategic pillars. 1. Prioritising rapid, high-frequency public transport, continually transforming and elevating customer focus and experience, building network optimisation and resilient for travel times, ensuring a sustainable funding model that enables quality urban growth to meet demand, fast-tracking creative, innovative, adaptive and efficient transport services. AT has an income of approximately 1.4 billion New Zealand dollars as net assets of $18 billion. That's a lot of money, people. As CEO, my role is centred around building and maintaining a strong capital development and service delivery entity, also requiring the navigation of the local and national political landscape. The role requires bold and forward thinking in their decision making to capture emerging technologies and cater for significant growth that Auckland is currently experiencing. He was, before working for AT, Senior Executive at Transdev Australasia from August 2011 through to December 2017 for 6 years and 5 months. In Sydney, Australia, he was their Senior Executive. Transdev is the world's largest private operator of public transport with operations in 19 countries. The company's 800 million a year Australasian businesses with 6,000 employees operate bus services in Perth, Brisbane, Melbourne, Darwin and Sydney, rail services in Auckland, Wellington and Sydney, and ferry services in Sydney and Brisbane. Okay, so Transdev's got its little finger in the pie over here, but shit, it's only 800 million compared to AT's $1.4 billion, so I guess Transdev doesn't even hold a candle to Auckland Transport now, does it? During my time with Transdev, I was appointed to roles of increasingly greater levels of responsibility, Prior to leaving Transdev, I was the senior executive responsible for the company's 8 operating subsidiaries in New South Wales and Queensland, providing leadership to business development and innovative activities across Australasia, and am a member of Transdev Australasia executive leadership team. I was accountable for 70% of Transdev Australasia's operating profits. So he knows how to make money. I worked with clients and internal teams to optimize the customer experience, develop project strategies, and optimize synergies with other parts of the group. I also engaged with national industry associations, local councils, tourism and transport organisations, businesses in New South Wales, Queensland and across Australasia, government agencies, financiers, motoring organisations, special event organisers and senior executives from key public precincts. Project Director, Corporate Development and Innovation for Viola Transport, South Africa, October 2007 through to August 2011, 3 years and 11 months, in the Paris area, France. I led and provided technical and commercial support to business development and start-up projects throughout Europe, North America and Middle East and Australia. I led a team of 200 employees and consultants to deliver a rail solution on the Gold Coast, which was delivered for 2% less than the original budget, enabled the on-time introduction of new rolling stock in the Netherlands, and the introduction to service of a new light rail system in Israel. Key projects included Gold Coast Rapid Transport PPP Consortium of Transdev, Alstom, Macquarie Capital and Leighton, Viola Transport Rail Concession Netherlands, Dublin Metro North Public-Private Partnership and Jerusalem Light Rail Train Project. Before that, he was the General Manager of Viola Transport, April 2005 through to September 2007, 2 years and 6 months in Sydney. Viola Transport Sydney, now Transdev Sydney, operated and maintained the monorail and light rail systems on behalf of Metro Transport Sydney. The focus of the role was to direct the business activities, ensure a safe work environment, initiate the development and implementation of strategies and policies for operations, maintenance, technical services, finance, administration and human resources. I also advised managers on the preparation of business plans and customer strategies and optimizing resource utilization to achieve budget and business objectives. Highlights included leading the turnaround of an underperforming business, negotiating of a new 5-year contract with a substantial increase in margins, driving a 228% improvement in earnings over 3 years, delivering a 380% improvement in operating profits, a substantial decline in workplace injuries which led to a 60% reduction in insurance premiums and reduced absenteeism by an average of 4.5 days per employee per year. So he managed to make all the little fucking servants work for 4.5 more days each year, so they took less time off. Education. He was educated in the University of Melbourne, Masters in Public Infrastructure and Public-Private Partnerships, 2005 to 2006. The Masters in Public Infrastructure takes a cross-disciplinary approach to examining the infrastructure sector of national and state economics, the focus on economic and social infrastructure, public-private partnerships, privatisation anyone, and large project procurements. Papers include infrastructure economics, infrastructure finance, public policy and finance, risk management for PPPs, principles of PPPs, infrastructure, regulation and PPP research project. Before that, it was at Massey University for a Bachelor of Business Studies with Honours Management, recognised as Massey Scholar in 1997, and he was at Massey from 1995 to 1999. Now, if you need to contact accounts payable, You can try Chantel Armstrong at chantel.armstrong@at.govt.nz. Her direct dial number is 447-4278 or 355-3553 extension 489278. Accounts Payable representative. Also, you can try the email at apqueries@at.govt.nz. For general information, you can try info@at.govt.nz, and for Official Information Act requests, you can try officialinformation@at.govt.nz. Acting Group Manager of Parking Services and Compliance is our old buddy Rick Bidgood. His email is rick.bidgood@at.govt.nz. His direct dial number is 447-5096, and I shall be trying that in the near future. His mobile number is 027-277-0020. Rick Bidgood, Managing Parking Operations at Auckland Council, New Zealand Government Administration. His experience is simply Manager of Parking Operations at Auckland in the present. He hasn't filled out any of his previous employment history. So, for all those people that would like to contact AT, talk to these bigwigs, there's some contact details. As a general rule of thumb, if there's anybody at AT you need to talk to, it is their first name dot last name at at.govt.nz. It's that simple. Luckily, after a phone call I've just made to Auckland Transport in regards to them breaching my daughter's privacy and using her name in something that has absolutely nothing to do with, I've also found out the name of the area manager, a Jason someone or other. I will be putting that up in the near future once I review the recording of the call, and that will be coming up in the next video. Alright people, so hope you have a great day. If you need to get a hold of AT, hopefully that helps you out and it gives you a little bit of background as to what these people actually have done in their lives. If they have a problem with the fact that this information has been put up on YouTube, well, I would suggest that they not make it publicly available information. If you have issues with people knowing your shit, don't put it out there in the first place, I say. Me, I'm an open book. You guys can look up and ask me whatever you like. I might not necessarily give you the answer, but I will applaud you for asking. See you later guys, enjoy your day, bye now.
Load it, cock it, let it go.